recording.
Okay, the meeting is 9:09.
I can start.
Okay.
Dear Lord, I pray that you give us strength to be strong in our world today. Lord, you know the struggles that we will face today. Please be with us as you go through them. Carry me if I am too weak to move. If I stumble in them, forgive me, Father. When I succeed in them, I will praise you. You are worthy of all praise and honor. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, the Commissioner's Office requesting the Board approve and execute the minutes for the meeting of August 18th, 2020. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner DeVore?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Aye. Commissioner's Office requesting the Board approve and execute the minutes for the meeting of August 25th, 2020. Motion, please.
So moved.
Ralph was not here at that meeting,
Okay,
so you can second.
I'll second that.
Commissioner DeVore?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Stay.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes. Okay. And Jerry.
You have, Christie, you have on here the 25th, but the date on my thing is 28th.
Oh,
Did I
September.
do something on 25th too?
No, I'm sorry, it's supposed to be the 28th.
Okay.
It was all done, it was all done yesterday. I think
Okay.
originally we had talked about doing it on Friday, and then it got moved to Monday.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't
Yeah.
something I was missing.
No,
Okay,
it
so
was all
yes-
done yesterday.
Yesterday for maintenance, I approved and executed a service contract agreement with Weber Company to perform annual inspections and maintenance on the safety center loading dock, advanced scissor lift for a 2-year period in an amount not to exceed $6,000 with an option to renew for an additional 2-year period. Approved and executed a service contract agreement with Lepo Rents to perform annual inspections and maintenance on the MEC Micro 19 scissor lift for a 2-year period in an amount not to exceed $5,000 with an option to renew for an additional 2-year period. And for transit, accepted the resignation of Timothy Shea, part-time driver, to be effective September 22nd, 2020.
It's a volume turning on, it wasn't plugged in. Thank you, Jerry. Adrian, financials?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, today's financials include a supplemental from Metzenbaum in their operating fund to provide appropriations for a transfer to their reserve fund. Among the cash transfers are the cash transfers for the coronavirus relief fund to various departments to reimburse them for unbudgeted expenses incurred as a result of the pandemic in accordance with Resolution of Acceptance 20-110, and a cash transfer from the general fund to Court Technology to pay a portion of their 2020 funding. Among the vouchers are $10,992 from the Auditor's Office to the Treasurer of State of Ohio for the 2019 financial audit, $235,280 from the Board of DD to West Roofing Systems Incorporated for roof repair and replacement, and $28,485 from Water Resources to Workman Industrial Services for work performed at the Lorien Woods Pump Station.
Okay. The relief fund, I saw there was a few requests coming through for vehicles.
Yeah, we'll be reading that here in a moment
Okay.
with the resolution. For
Okay.
The financials is last week's too.
Okay.
Correct, yes.
Very good.
Yeah, those were just the cash transfers for the reimbursements.
Okay, okay. Okay, any questions or comments related to the financials?
Nope.
Okay, a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner DeVore?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes. All
And
right.
then the next item on the agenda is the resolution of acceptance for the CARES Act expenditures. So this resolution is a total of $133,741.29. For reimbursement, it's $11,933.22. For ADP, this includes a block of 24 hours of support to aid in setting up VPN connections for county employees working from home. $7,917.08 from DES for a monitor and accessories for video conferencing to aid in social distancing and work from home, and $176.14 from the Sheriff's Office to purchase software to improve the scheduling for the CCW permits and background checks in order to prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Okay.
And then, so for the proposed, now we have $121,808.07. This includes $36,710 for the auditor's office for the purchase of an SUV with either vinyl or leather seats to be able to disinfect the interior and prevent cross-contamination by daily occupants, and $33,199.98 from the engineer's office for PPE, and an additional 5 laptops and docking stations for remote working, 63 vehicle cleanings and sanitations, and 3 additional mechanic tool sets to minimize tool sharing and cross-contamination. $41,350 for the prosecutor's office for the purchase of a mid-size SUV with either vinyl or leather seats with a 3rd row seat to be able to disinfect the interior and prevent cross-contamination of daily occupants. And $10,548.09 for transit for the purchase of 2 floor scrubbers for daily cleaning and sanitizing of the bus, garage, and office floors.
Okay, so the vehicles with these vinyl seats or leather seats or whatever, I mean, I understand what the thinking is. Is it legal? I mean, do we have a legal opinion on,
I did
does this
get-
qualify for CARES Act funding?
I did get an email from Ron Leidy yesterday, and he copied Auditor Walter and Prosecutor Flays. They did seek an opinion from the Ohio Office of Budget and Management regarding the issue of the pending vehicle purchases. They acknowledge that while in general vehicle purchases may be questionable, the documentation to support this assertion is adequate. And so I don't think that we will have an issue with the justification for it. It's detailed, the letters that accompanied the request, and it appears, at least from the Ohio Office of Budget Management, that it's an acceptable expense
Yeah.
for the coronavirus relief funds.
Okay. I mean, on one hand, like, we've listened to a lot of this CARES Act money coming through here, and I understand we've just qualified for another $3.8 million or something, which, I mean, on one hand, as, sitting here, I understand the idea of trying to utilize that and get everyone the resources they need to be prepared and continue on with the issue at hand, but on the other hand, as a taxpayer, and, it just, it blows my mind that this is continuing on and on and on, and we're trying to figure out different ways to buy stuff, that, I don't understand, the vehicles with the vinyl seats, that's, to me, a stretch, it's, buying everybody their own tool set because we're worried about people touching tools and stuff like that, I think at some point, but I understand what we are doing as a county to try and submit for that, but, it is a,
I think as long as we are targeting areas that have had a genuine need for a vehicle, like in this case, a vehicle where you have a department where there is a lot of vehicle sharing, where there is a lot of opportunity for things like this to happen, that as long as we're targeting those areas and not just buying extra cars,
right.
I think
it's
up to you guys,
in
in this particular situation, but it seems like, based on the description of the need, that this is an area probably where it's justifiable. There may be other areas that come before you.
I've heard, there was a requested, or at least there was the proposal to sheriff's departments about their vehicles, which obviously, there you're talking a lot of cross-contamination, different officers, plus, transporting whoever else in the back of the seats and so on and so on, but there was a, even talking to our own sheriff, he said not so fast on going out and buying these vehicles, that there's potentially, an issue with.
Jerry and I listened to the presentation yesterday that the sheriff had listened to in regards to that, and they did say the lawyer did indicate that this is an area between the extremes of definitely yes and definitely no. So this is a gray area.
Okay.
And as the auditor and prosecutors sought an opinion from budget management, As long as you have a good justifiable reason and thought pattern behind it,
Okay.
they'll stand behind it, so.
And
It really does come down to a case-by-case basis, depending on what you're looking for. And I think where the sheriff was coming in was to have a car, just to buy extra cars and
Mhm.
having them sit there to be able to switch out is really questionable,
Mhm.
as opposed to in this situation where you've got a vehicle that everybody's using,
Mhm.
you're replacing that vehicle because you can't clean it properly between uses.
Right.
With a vehicle, you can clean properly
Right.
between uses.
And I think I support the prosecutor and the auditor's thoughts on their two vehicles. I think both their vehicles were getting up there in miles and age, I believe. So it was.
It's a good time. It's
It
a
was
good time to
potentially,
do it.
they were gonna be looking for a new vehicle anyway, I think,
Right.
regardless, but.
Right. Although it wasn't budgeted.
It was
so-
not budgeted,
Correct.
yeah. But, I mean, do you kind of understand where I'm coming from a little bit?
Completely
Like, yeah.
understand. I've had the same
Yeah.
issue. We've had, Adrian and I have had a number of
Yeah.
discussions about different things that
Right.
have come across.
I mean,
It's like,
I just feel like we're going down this rabbit hole here. It's not just as a county, but as a state and a nation and continuing. Like, where is this going to end? How much are we going to invest into this?
Well, I definitely think we're gonna have a hard time spending the 3.3 million unless
Yeah.
they expand the parameters for its use in some way, so.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be a stretch.
Yeah. Well,
It's like the Twilight Zone.
my kids will be paying for that, I'm sure, right?
My grandchildren.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So
Well.
for clarification, you're okay with the cars then?
Yeah, with that explanation, I'm okay with it.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner DeWart?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier? Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Oh,
Nope. Nope.
Is it the wrong one?
Oh.
I've turned it over and he grabbed that one. We weren't sure.
Oh, the no cars one.
We
Oh,
were prepared.
yeah. Thank you.
Okay, and then, can I go on or should I wait?
No, you're done.
This next one is to amend the schedule for the 2021 budget hearings for this afternoon. We are moving maintenance up from later this afternoon to 11:30 this morning. And in order to make a spot for the airport authority today at 4 o'clock. So
You don't think
maintenance.
they want to come in any earlier?
The airport?
Or or
I just confirmed the time with Rick this
What
morning.
did you say? I'm sorry,
I'm sorry, so we had maintenance, the budget hearings weren't scheduled to start today until noon.
Oh, okay.
Maintenance was last from 4 to 4:30. Because airport didn't make it here last week, we've given them that 4 to 4:30 slot.
Okay.
And we've moved maintenance projects up to 11:25.
Okay.
So that
Okay.
we can make a slot.
All
So
right.
I owe Glenn a Mountain Dew for that. so.
Okay. Yeah. Is he here?
I heard
He's
him
here.
out there.
He's here.
Yeah.
He's here. He's just hanging out.
He's checking on me.
Yeah. Okay.
I make that motion.
second.
Commissioner DeWart?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier? Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Okay. At this time, we have to skip down to the public hearing that is scheduled for 9:15.
Okay. Which one
Carmella
is
is
that?
here. This is the proposed Jog County Water Management and Sediment Control Regulations amended 2020.
Okay.
Can I have
Hey,
a
Carmella,
motion
how you
to
doing?
waive the reading of legal notice?
Make that motion.
Second?
Commissioner DeWart?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Right.
Commissioner Lennon?
Hi.
Okay.
Okay. Hi.
Hi there.
How are you?
Good.
Good.
Always forget about the traffic insurance. I was like, oh.
The traffic light. Yeah, no.
I was like looking around. That's okay.
Okay, this is the first hearing for the update of the county water management and sediment control regulations. They were last updated in 2017. One of the things that we are required to do to keep our regulations updated is to ensure they follow the Ohio EPA's construction manual permit and all their requirements. So they have to be at least as stringent as those or stricter. So we had to update our calculation procedures and how they calculated water quality and added all types of different water quality measures that are acceptable now that they will accept and won't accept, so we had to update that whole section. That's the major change in the regulation.
So this is an amendment from 2017?
Yes.
Okay.
So it will be amended.
And what was the big
The-
change?
The EPA, making sure that we're compliant with what the EPA's
Okay.
permit is, so we had to be equivalent to it.
And it wasn't before?
It was equivalent to the previous permit.
Oh, okay,
So when they
okay.
updated theirs, we had to get ours updated
Oh, I
too,
see, okay.
which also is a requirement of our NPD permit too.
Okay.
Also added a requirement, we've been running into some issues with runoff to neighboring properties. So we added a phrase about that. There's, in Geauga County, it's a little tougher because we don't have the storm sewer infrastructure all over the place like a city would, a
Mhm.
municipality. So when they design stormwater, we're usually in a very sheet flow condition, and then we have to treat it and then discharge it. And then the discharge becomes an issue, even though it's holding it all back, we're at a point instead of sheet flowing over a long area. So we added a caveat in there that we're requiring the designer to evaluate the downstream impacts and try to alleviate any of those issues. So those are really the two biggest.
What's that screening called when the new?
Silk fence.
Silk fence. Has there been any talk in Columbus about when someone clears a property just for pastures, you know, forestry, just strips it down to nothing, to have a silk fence around that area so it doesn't bother the neighbors, like it would match and really mirror what the construction industry.
Agriculture is always exempt from a lot of things in the state of Ohio. So, no, there is nothing, I mean, you see, we hear it all the time. It's not a new thing, but you can have a small site disturbing an acre, they've got to do all kinds of things, but yet you'll see a 100-acre field completely stripped until the items start growing, and they're not subject to the same rules. Agriculture's kind of been, just like it's in zoning. It's exempt from
Right.
zoning, it's exempt from a lot of things.
I remember there was something, I don't know if this is off topic a little bit, but there was a couple of developments or older developments with retention ponds in their
Mhm.
subdivisions that were getting full of silt.
Mhm.
And, you know, the removal of that silt. And was there anything in this about the?
Well, part of the requirement, some of the very older ones, it's harder to track back. We had all the paperwork. We started requiring stormwater in 1979. So we were the first county in the state to actually do that. So back in that 79 days, we hadn't been through it enough to know all the things we need to know now as we do now. But part of the thing that we do once a year, once every 3 years for sure, but once a year for all the Phase 2 communities, we do an inspection of those stormwater basins. And it's a responsibility of the owner of the stormwater basin. Sometimes it's in a homeowners association, sometimes it's the lot owner, or
Mhm.
sometimes it's just the actual owner. But they're required to maintain that. So if
Remember
we
there was
see
a lot of,
problem, yeah,
issue about ownership.
Yes,
You know,
and
like
that's-
a lot of them didn't have associations either
right,
then or now.
exactly. And some of them that we don't have that's identified, it becomes a very difficult thing to
Mhm.
chase down. The homeowners associations are even difficult to chase down in some situations. Some of the subdivisions are with the sublot owner, but now we have a drainage maintenance district process for any subdivisions that go in. It goes into a drainage maintenance district that the county oversees.
Okay.
So if there's any maintenance required, it would be pulled out of that drainage maintenance, which is an assessment on all the subdivision
Okay.
owners. So we've improved and found ways to do it better as we've gotten down the line.
Right.
But that's how we've done it for subdivisions now. But
Okay.
private, commercial development is still the owner, whoever owns the property
Okay.
is perpetually
Very good.
responsible for maintaining it.
Great, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Do you have anything for us?
Is there only one public hearing on
Well,
another one in
Is
30
there any,
days?
anybody here
Next week.
from the public that has a question or comment, would like to make comment at the public hearing? Nope. Seeing none on that matter?
Close it at 9:28.
9:28. Okay.
All right.
Thank you. We'll see you next week. Yep.
All right, so
All
now
right.
we're going back to number 7.
Great. Okay, the county engineer's office.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Item 7 on the agenda is requesting the board adopt the amendment to the standard specifications and procedures for the design and construction of subdivision roads in Geauga County. Public hearing was held on 9/1. Received no public comments. Only comments we did receive was a support letter from the planning commission.
Okay.
This to be effective on October 1st, 2020.
All right, motion, please.
So moved.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Thank you. Items 8, 9, and 10, these are revised actions. Previously completed corrections are at the request of the county auditor to match in with the ORC and how the actions should be written in the ORC. It's also going to end up with us modifying those regulations that we have. So
Okay.
Item 8, the county engineer's office is requesting the board certify to the county auditor the use of $200,000 from the municipal road fund for the Goodwin Avenue Improvement Project in the village of Burton pursuant to ORC 4504.04, and further requests the county auditor to encumber the $200,000 as final detailed plans have been submitted and approved to the county engineer as the project meets the requirements set forth in the policy adopted in December 2014.
Great. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Item 9 on the agenda, the county engineer's office is requesting the board certify to the county auditor the use of $128,855 from the municipal road fund for the Daisy Lane Improvement Project in the village of South Russell pursuant to ORC 4504.04, and further request the county auditor to encumber the $128,855 as final detailed plans have been submitted and approved by the county engineer as the project meets the requirements set forth in the policy adopted in 2014.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Item 10, this one's a little bit different as we're not requesting the encumbrance of the documents as it's still in design. So once we receive that, there'll be an action that will come in, but
Okay.
the county engineer's office is requesting the board certify to the county auditor the use of $180,000 from the municipal road fund for the Terra Creek Parkway resurfacing project in the village of Middlefield pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 4504.04 as the project meets the requirements set forth in the policy adopted 2014.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Aye. Excellent. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Yep, have a good one, Nick. Okay, Department of Aging.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, good. Okay, items 12 through 16 are a bit of a reorg for our department. What we're looking to do, since we're looking at the future of senior centers and adult day, we currently have senior center coordinators and then assistants, and then we have an adult day coordinator and then adult day aides. What we wanted to do was eliminate all of the aide positions and just have a rec and ed assistant, so all of those staff can work in all of our facilities, so they can be cross-trained, cover vacations. Clearly, as you open and you may consider COVID, who knows what staffing challenges we may face. So essentially what we're doing is we're eliminating 4 part-time positions. We are promoting our full-time adult day aide to the full-time rec and ed assistant to allow her to do that cross-training, and then we'll be posting for 1 full-time rec and ed assistant. Bottom line, from a salary perspective, we're saving just a little over $2,000 by making these changes.
Okay, so this is shuffling some people around from the,
One person who is currently an aide, we're promoting her to a rec and ed assistant, which will allow her to work in all of our facilities.
Okay.
Senior center and adult day. We're eliminating all of the aide positions, and we'll replace those with 1 full-time rec and ed assistant. So once again, all of our staff can work in all of our facilities.
okay, great. And, so you're not really adding anybody?
So we are adding 1 full-time rec and ed
One full-
position.
okay.
And that's what we will post.
Okay. But they're not being promoted up? is it?
One person is being promoted. She's currently a full-time adult day service aide. Because we're eliminating all of the adult day service aide positions, she's going to be promoted to a full-time rec and ed
Okay.
assistant.
Good enough.
I'll make the motion on those.
Yep, on 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16.
Second.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
And then number 17, I think I was here a week or so ago, we approved envelope consulting services to work with. So for $4,800, they will do a code review, general assessment, and recommendation for any proposed alterations to see if we can use the Metzenbaum workshop for adult day or senior center use. So that is the contract with them.
Okay.
They can let us know what the feasibility will be.
I think that's a reasonable.
Oh, I think when Jerry and I talked, we were thinking like under 10,000, maybe close to 8. So
Right.
coming in at being 4,800, I think that's a wonderful price.
Mhm.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spiller?
Aye.
Commissioner Martin?
Aye.
All right, well, thank you
Okay.
so
Thank you.
much.
Just so you are aware, you have to initial 2 spots on this page,
Mhm.
and then when you get to this page, you have to go down both sides,
Okay,
plus also sign.
okay.
Yes.
Morning. Hey, Dan.
How are you?
How are you?
Good.
Okay, so you got some vacation accruals?
Yeah, 2 items. The first one, number 18, is requesting the board to waive the 200-hour vacation accrual for Larry Hayden, retroactive from September 1st to the end of payroll number 25. We did this for him when we were shorthanded during the summer months, and then as we received got the new employee, Larry's been helping train him too, so he hasn't been taking any time off, but make sure we stay up to par with everything that's been going on.
How's that working, okay?
Yeah, it's very
Yeah,
good, actually.
good. No, it's been busy summer, right?
It has been.
Yeah. Very good.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spiller?
Aye.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
And then the second item for today, number 19, is requesting the board to increase the current position for position of multi-certified inspector 3 from 1 to 2 that's advertised currently. This is to encourage our current employee, Jason, to receive his electrical safety inspector certification and move from inspector 2 to inspector 3.
Okay.
I make the motion.
Second.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spiller?
Aye.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Have a good day.
Okay, we have
All of a
maintenance.
sudden, Glenn in.
Send Glenn in.
You're on, chief.
Just do his budget right now.
Morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Oh, it's a beautiful day for fall weather. Couple more weeks, days, hours, there'll be white stuff out there.
Oh, stop.
Okay.
The first one is a service agreement with Jog and Mechanical for them to come in and work on the HVAC units and work on some of the programming on that one. It's a 1 year not to exceed $45,000.
And we're familiar with them.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
We're happy with them.
yes, we're trying to get more and more into contracts and stuff, so.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spiller?
Aye.
Commissioner Martin?
Aye.
The next one's on behalf of you guys. Next step, right now they're in Pleasant Hill Director's House down there.
Yep.
They've been doing good, so, what we checked on was what, any taxes, electrical, water, everything is tied in with this, so it'll all be, this will cover everything, for
So
sure.
this is their lease?
Correct.
Okay. So what are we doing? First 2-year term? Or,
It's a 1 year.
1 year, okay.
With, the option of renewing up to 2 additional 1-year terms.
great, and this covers everything for them?
Correct.
And I understand they've been a great tenant there, and they like it, no issues.
No, there are no
Yeah.
issues at the present time.
Good, okay. I'll
Make
make
the
that.
motion.
Yep, second.
The next,
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer? Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
I know you want to be done.
We need decaf.
Just
Mountain Dew.
settle.
I gotta come back at 3:30 and see y'all.
No, you didn't hear it?
Thanks for the warning. No, you're here at 11:25.
The next one is Nathan Munn. He's been down at the jail, great guy, been doing really, really good down there. He's gonna move up to our grounds maintenance supervisor position. So we'll be looking for another person to be working in the jail and move him out to the grounds and get him to know all the property and start working with the contractors.
Okay.
Make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner DeWart?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
The next one is hiring David. We did an interview with him. Seems very energetic, so for janitor clean, so we'll only be down one now. So really anxious to get him started and get him going.
Good. How, you said, so you're down one,
We're still down one.
how many do you have total?
There's supposed to be a 6 total.
Six.
So we
And you got
need
some
5.
there and here. and-
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner DeWart?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Y'all have a good day.
All right.
See you, Glenn.
11:30.
11:25.
For real. He thinks you're kidding.
Good morning.
Hello.
Mary, I got the two separate grants for 2021. The first one is the Transit Partnership Program. That's the new one that they've just started. They call it OTP2, that when they asked us for our wish list for several years out, and then the CARES Act money, they ended up pulling some of those projects early.
Grant.
So the first one is for, it's a bus lift, fuel management systems, we've been trying to update for years, bus wash, facility rehab with some gutters and things that need replaced, and then part of the capitalized maintenance. And that one's for $229,017.
Okay.
Make that motion.
Second.
DeWart?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Okay, the second grant that I have is $410,241. That one is actually part of our number 5311, which is our operating capitalized maintenance. It's actually the rest of the CARES Act money that we're not spending this year, but they're just carrying over to next year. So this first part, through the $410,000, will get reimbursed at 100%, and then later I'm gonna get the 5311 grant we're still working on, which will go back to the 80/20 for the cap maintenance and the 50/50 for the operating.
All right. Any questions?
Second.
Commissioner DeWart?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Okay.
Linda's here.
Morning.
How are you?
Hey, Linda.
Good, good, good.
So we're gonna discuss the upcoming general plan update and the community engagement process.
Yeah, the first, that's 27, the first one's 26, this is just a plat
Oh,
approval.
okay. Yep.
We'll do that one first, so it is for approval of the final plat of Stone Ridge Phase 11. This is just the last phase of the subdivision, it's located in Bainbridge Township. All the roads are in. This one was a little bit quirky because it originally started off as a condominium project, but then later changed over to a traditional subdivision. So this is just the last platting of sublots 1, 2, and 4, so the developer can market those as those lots.
Okay. Condominium?
It was originally started that way, and then they changed it.
You guys are sign here,
Okay.
so you're gonna want
Make that
to put it in
motion.
between you and
Yep.
Brad.
Second.
Commissioner DeWart?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Aye.
Yes.
Yep.
So I think we're right there.
Susan didn't date when she was having it.
Oh, she didn't do
No, so you're gonna wanna take that back in.
Thank you.
I
There's just
happened to
one
look at
copy
it.
on this,
Yeah, there's just
Christine?
one. Yeah.
Just one.
Made a special trip too, come over mine.
Very good. Okay.
All right, and then, yes, number 27, I wanted to take a little bit of your time to give you an update on the general plan update and our community engagement process. So at the September 10th Planning Commission meeting, we had gone over the results of the community survey. So they are posted on the Planning Commission's website, so I encourage anybody to check those out. And so basically the kind of the main takeaways, or at least the top 3 issues that were identified for the people that filled out the survey were the number 1 priority is preserving rural character, number 2 is farmland preservation, and number 3 is expanding internet access speeds. So those were kind of the 3 issues that
Repeat what you said, start from the beginning again?
preserve rural character,
Yeah.
farmland preservation, and expanding internet access. So those were the 3 out of the top issues. They were asked what are the top issues the county should address in the next 10 years, and those were the 3 that received the highest marks.
Okay.
And then there are other takeaways from it. There were several questions on the survey. So the main takeaways from the survey were residents like living here, largely because of the rural setting. The greatest asset is our natural areas. Internet service speeds need improvement. Residents were concerned about the development of farmland in natural areas and are generally supportive of environmental protections. And then walking, biking paths in natural areas receive the highest numbers in terms of recreational amenities that are needed. So this is all in this document. It's kind of a lot to.
And that was out of how many responses?
So there were 1,656 responses altogether.
And how many people total in that Geauga Park group?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Like, did the Geauga Park group participate in that?
It was forwarded to the Geauga Park District, and they had advertised it on their social media. So it went out to lots of different groups, the trustees, a lot of the government officials. So this is only one step of the process. The next step is going to be the public forums. So there's going to be 4 public forums. And this was just recently created. So the survey was used as a starting point to create questions for the public forums. The public forums are basically going to have 13 questions that kind of take a deeper dive into some of the larger takeaways from the survey itself. So again, preserving rural character, economic development, housing, and connections are going to be the 4 themes of the public forums. And this will make sense once you actually see the documents. It's kind of a lot to absorb without actually seeing the documents. So our consultant created the flyer to let people know about the public forums. We are going to be posting the information online as well. So if somebody doesn't want to attend in person, they can actually just fill out the exercise online. So the first one's going to be at the Middlefield Library on October 7th from 2:30 to 6:30 p.m. Veterans Legacy Woods, there'll be one there on October 8th from 2:30 to 7:30 p.m. And on October 13th, there'll be one at the Westwoods Oak Room from 2:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And then on October 15th, there'll be one here at the Geauga County Offices, Building 8, from 2:30 to 7:30 p.m. So folks are encouraged to stop in anytime between those hours, maybe take about 30 minutes to kind of run through the exercise. So this is the draft of it right now. I just need to tweak a few more things on it. There's going to be one station, imagine like a 24 by 36 inch poster board on an easel, and it'll have, this is the farmland question, so it basically have this on a 24 by 36 inch scale. This map shows preservation, or prime agricultural soils, and then the question is, where would you most like to see farmland preserved? And they can write anything down. They can write whatever townships, they can write all of it, none of it, I mean, however people want to respond to it. And then, so conservation easements, conservation developments, mixed-use development, so it kind of has a lot to go through. But again, this is something that can also be done online once we're going to have it posted online soon. So And again,
Yeah, it'd be interesting to get in more detail into farmland preservation, like what they mean by that.
Right, right.
Considering farmland and who's wants to see it preserved, you know,
Right,
the people
right.
that actually have the farmland, or is this just people in general
people
like
in
to see?
general, right, yeah, because this is, we're reaching out to everybody
Right,
here, so it
yeah.
could be,
I'd like to hear that.
yeah, people that don't know anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is the county general plan. A lot of times the townships can delve into these things a little bit more
Sure.
deeper dive, because they're the ones with their township zoning codes and they're regulating.
Absolutely.
There's no county zoning, so we
Right.
don't have that option.
We're just
but-
kind of gathering up from all the different entities and
Right.
putting it into one
Right.
spot here, yeah.
So we wanted to try to, because of COVID-19, normally these would just be in-person public forums. We wouldn't be doing the online option,
Mhm.
but we felt that that was important, obviously, because
Okay.
of COVID-19. And I think a lot of people are gonna wanna take advantage of it.
Yeah.
People are used to staying in their homes, so.
Okay.
So that's, I just wanted to give you an update on that. We're hoping there's a good turnout, both either online or in person. And people have to wear masks and social distancing, just like anything else.
Yeah. Okay, great. And you've gotten that, I'm sure you're advertising that with all the major,
Yes. So I sent the press releases out
Okay.
to all the newspapers. The Middlefield Post, unfortunately, I guess they're in a transition right now.
Huh.
They came back.
They were bought out by Maple Leaf.
Yeah, I thought they were bought out. So
Hmm.
that, I don't think there's gonna be, I think they won't be posting anything until maybe November. So, but I did send it to the Good News, the Maple Leaf, the Courier, and News Herald.
okay, sounds good.
And I'll be following up with you at Planning Commission as well.
Mhm. With our consultant, when do you think we'll be wrapping this up?
The contract is through the middle of November,
Mhm.
and I actually have to have a conversation with them on that because I don't see it being wrapped up by November.
Okay.
So we'll have
With the
to-
interruption of everything?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, we'll have to extend it. It took us quite a while at Planning Commission to kind of get the survey to the extent that we wanted it.
Yep.
So I envision, no pun intended, because I called envision.
Yeah.
Having to extend that contract, but I gotta make that call here soon and discuss that with them.
Yeah. I mean, there was I don't think we should have to incur any more cost
No.
into it, but, it was just due to, circumstances that, March and April and May, right?
Right.
He's gonna probably have to make up some of that lost time with us.
Correct, and we're about 50% through. I mean, this is gonna be, the public forums are gonna be a large chunk of the next step of the process.
Mhm.
So, and then after this, it's actually gonna be formulating recommendations and then actually formulating the plan.
Okay.
So all the public participation happens up front, and then you don't write for it until
Sure.
towards the end of it.
Makes sense?
Yeah, we're at a set price anyways.
Right, it was at 91,000.
Yeah, set price, but I wanna make sure we're still getting, what we paid for, is what
Correct.
I'm saying, cause,
Absolutely.
it's set price, but, we're missing basically 3 to 4 months out of the calendar that, I'm assuming he continued working, but he wasn't able to do exactly what we paid him to do, right?
Right,
Or
yeah.
he had to change what he's doing to get it accomplished.
Yeah, it slowed it down,
Yeah.
trying to have the alternate ways of getting the information out, but I'll definitely have the conversation with
Yeah.
him about when the planning commission's gonna have to act on that to extend the contract.
Yeah, if he could just review with either you or the board, just making sure that, what he actually did during those times, so we're just, aware of, that work continued on and didn't come to a screeching halt, right?
Right.
Yeah,
All right.
very good. Sounds good. Thank you for the update, and we'll look forward to having you back.
Right.
Okay.
Bye now.
Okay, so other than that, I think there was a couple individuals that had asked from the public that wanted to speak this morning, so if you could just give us your name and where you're from and what it's in regards to, we'll go from there.
I'll stand over here because otherwise it's just a big
No problem.
bunch of silhouettes.
Sure, yeah, your name?
Mike Behary,
Mike,
and I'm a resident in Twing Road
Twin Road, okay.
and in the Berkshire Sewer District.
Yep.
not the official name, but everybody knows what we're talking
Yeah, yeah.
about. And I'm not opposed to the sewers at all, and I fully intend to connect. But I do have some questions about, where we're at on that. Number one, the judges, Judge Grindell's findings seem to be quite thoughtful and appropriate. And you guys have always indicated that you're on our side. But I'm curious as to why we're spending taxpayers' money, which is somewhat ours, some of it's ours, to challenge this. Is that something you're able to comment on, or?
Well, it is under, we're obviously appealing that decision, and I don't know how much we can, discuss other than what's been currently in court so far, but, I'm sure you're probably aware that the EPA is also a party to this. This is not something that this board or the Board of Commissioners has just thought up to go sewer that district.
Well,
We have findings and orders from the EPA. The judge's decision wasn't so much on the actual necessity of that plant.
Correct.
It was on the assessment and the payment of it. So with that being said, this issue is still moving forward with the EPA. They have not rescinded their order to Geauga County and still having to go move forward in building that plant.
And I see that
Yeah.
there seems to be some action taking place there.
Yeah,
towards
yeah.
that.
So, I don't know, Jerry, if you wanted to expound on that anymore as to why we're appealing that case.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, I guess I can safely say that one of the reasons why we're appealing is because the decision that was in that case was in direct contradiction to the Ohio Revised Code, the language of the Ohio Revised Code. So,
Okay.
I mean, that's probably the clearest way to say it.
Above my pay grade.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's the basic reason
Yeah,
for it.
and the second question, the other one, is that, I don't remember what year this stuff was initially found, the problem. I think it was 2014, as they go back that far.
It's about that time, yes.
If this is so flagrant and concerning, why has there been nothing done to find out the sources of I think some relatively obvious sources of the pollution from several locations, and try to mitigate those, which are continuing? I mean, I don't know this for a fact, but I have heard other residents comment that there are several that are, obvious locations where people are occasionally pumping out their septic tanks right into the creek and into the several things that are entering right into the waterway.
Yeah. I mean, the issue still is there, and I think the measurements that were done then, it was off the charts. It wasn't just findings of, say, one home that may be discharging. It was I don't know, thousands parts per million or whatever it was, but
my understanding,
extremely high.
you're
Extremely
certainly
high.
an expert
Yeah.
on this, Jerry, but the tests were done in the common ditches, let's say, or drainage. But I'm understanding that there are several places, and they were concentrated on Henning, I believe, right?
There were several on Henning, but other ones have been done since then.
Right, and my understanding is that they didn't find any problems in those other ones, or the majority of the other ones, so.
There were some that were clean, that weren't clean, but they weren't as bad. And there were
Correct.
ones that were,
Yeah,
other ones that were
I'm-
at that elevation that
Yeah.
needed to be.
So, again, I go back to why hasn't something been done to locate the specific sources and try to mitigate the flagrant ones?
Yeah, there's been at least one, I believe a couple other ones who have been caught trying to discharge, and the health district has addressed to them. So they've been pumping directly into the stream or into the roadside ditches.
It'd be good to let
Yeah.
the residents know that, so that, we can feel somewhat better that, that you are looking after the critical issues. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
No, thanks for coming in.
Okay. Is there anybody else? All right, very good. So we will be recessing here and then coming back later this morning to continue our budget hearings.
I'm over here, Jerm.